agent, the chances are high that that home's going to sell quickly, right? We're all seeing that. So if you're taking 5.5 over 6% and you're not doing as much work because you're not calling them every week with feedback and having tough conversations 10 days later to drop the price and closing 4 months down the line, that's just not what we're seeing. So I can't tell you whether to take a discount or not, but I would say fight for your full percentage. That's really been the biggest objection I've really been getting lately. I will say when you're as thorough as I am in a listing presentation, I didn't leave much room for objections. I really didn't. I showed you how we're going to sell your home. I showed you the value that my team brings. I showed you that I know what I'm doing. I showed you that you can trust me. Why wouldn't you list with the current team?
What about when they know another agent, like someone in their family or a good friend? Have you run into that at all?
Everybody does know an agent, right? Normally when I've got my foot through the door, not really. I'm going for the close. If they do know somebody else, and sometimes I'm pretty direct. Well, gosh, it sounds like, you're really close with your aunt. And it sounds like, she's pretty valuable. Why are we meeting today? And I will awkward silence all day. Why are we meeting today? Well, is there something that I just reiterate the value of our team, right? I'm never going. Now, I will say if they are interviewing other people, which is in my prequal, so that I'm prepared when I go, I know that they're going to interview other people. And I try and make sure that doesn't happen. Well, I think we should save that other agent's time. I'll call them myself. I don't think you need to meet with them tomorrow. It sounds like we've built a great connection here and we need to get started right away. So I think I just reiterate value. And really, if they do know someone that close that is an agent, why are they meeting with me? They clearly weren't 100% with the other agent or they wouldn't be meeting with me. So you're just trying to close the deal again.
How much of your time do you spend on script practice?
Weekly, every single week, about an hour a week. I meet with the other agents and we try to do something. So we rotate. Each week, one of us brings a script and then we all take turns with that script. I do always like to say, don't practice on a paycheck. Be prepared, right? You don't want to go to a listing presentation and just wing it. You want to be prepared. Like that listing presentation, I could do that with my eyes closed. I know what slide is next. I know what I'm going to say because I do it on repeat 3 times a week at least, right? That's my goal, is to go on 3 a week. Everybody has different goals. Maybe it's 1 a week. Maybe it's 2 a month. Whatever your goal is, just make sure you know your presentation and that you're constantly practicing it. And it helps too, because I train some of the other agents on listing presentations, which keeps me good, right? That keeps me knowing what I'm doing and what I'm saying.
I have a question. When you mentioned they ask like a new agent, what are your numbers? And this is potentially your first client. And what do you say as far as numbers?
Okay. I would probably just bring up maybe the market center. Do you have like a coach or a mentor?
No, not currently. I was with Phil, but I was just so overwhelmed with so much information. I kind of backed out.
Okay. So yeah, Bill's great in that PC group, but I would maybe use even that group's numbers. I mean, you're not here to lie, but I remember being new and I would I would say, the team's numbers, or if you did have a coach or mentor, maybe use those numbers. Or how another line I used to use is who's going to work harder for you? A brand new agent trying to prove themselves, or someone that's been doing this 40 years that thinks they know everything?
Got it.
The new agent.
Okay.
It's okay to be
Thank
new,
you.
right? It's okay to be new. Honestly, some people respect that and want to give you the chance.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Of course. What other questions?
Christy, I know you said that one of the things when you're doing your comms and you're looking at how you're gonna, I guess, maybe give a range or whatnot. do you take like, let's say it's a 3-bedroom too, you take 3-2 specifically, or do you go just based on like the school, the
You're breaking up a little bit, but I think I get the gist. Yeah, so I typically won't do, if it's a 3-2, I won't specifically look for 3-2s. I try and stay around the same square footage. And if it has a basement, I try and make sure the other homes have a basement. If it doesn't, that's still a comparable property. An appraiser can still use a home down the street that doesn't have a basement. But you're still showing them, well, look, you have a basement and they don't, and it sold for 400. That's why I think we can go 425, because you have a basement and they don't. So, I mean, it's pretty hard to find, unless you're in some cookie cutter home or neighborhood, the exact home down the street. But I will say you're limiting yourself if you do just 3 bedrooms, because then the house next door could be the same exact square footage with 4 bedrooms, but they're all super tiny, and not really changing the value much, in my opinion. So I typically keep it pretty broad, because it's still a comp to show them, even if it's not the same exact home.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that's how I do it. And I remember somebody teaching me that I had to get the exact. I'm like, man, I eliminate so much that it just made it so tough to get like a range or something that it was like close to even the home,
Yeah. And if I get a number from them in my pre-qual, because of course I try and get a number from them. Like, well, what do you think your home is worth? Of course, some might say, well, you're the expert. But some might be, well, oh my gosh, I want a net 350. Love it. Like, thank you for telling me exactly what you want to net. Now I'm going to go see if that's possible. And so I might go in a range, what's 300 to 400 in this neighborhood or in this elementary or high school? And then I'm comparing what's 300 to 400 to their home. And then I'm prepared with which ones I'm going to show them that's either support or don't support what they want.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Where do most of your listings come from, Christy? Are they from your sphere, from referrals? Do you do cold calling? Where do they come from?
All of the above. I sold one last week. That was my sphere. I've got one tomorrow. That's my sphere. We have an ISA that sets appointments. We have referrals. I had a closing last week and I had just helped them buy that a year ago. So referrals, past clients, staying with your database, calling them, checking in. I try to check in with them at least quarterly. Whether that's just, hey, how you doing? Or, friends on Facebook, constantly commenting, just being, just knowing what they're up to. So I would say we definitely get reviews. We get a lot of calls on reviews. So make sure you get your reviews after every closing. You don't even have to close yet. Midway through, they're happy with you. What a great time to ask for a review. So make sure you're getting your reviews. We get a lot of calls on those. We do YouTube videos. We actually get calls on that from Relo clients. So Sphere, past clients. So I'd say a little bit of everything.
And where are you getting your reviews from? Like Google reviews, or what sites are the reviews coming from?
Yes, so Google's a huge one. We were pretty focused on Zillow for a while. Realtor.com, we just started doing. Facebook is a good one. If you are doing any kind of, I know we used to do Angie's List, but I do think we focus more on Realtor, Google. Google is one of the big ones. We don't do Yelp. We just found that Yelp kind of only picks and chooses what reviews to put up. But I would say Google is a good one.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Do you do any kind of Facebook ads, Christy?
We do. Yes, we do pay for Facebook ads. I will say, I actually asked this a couple of weeks ago in a meeting, how many closings we've had from Facebook ads, and not very many. So we see what works, we track what works, and we focus on that. Not to say that there's not agents out there, and I'm sure in the market center having a lot of luck with Facebook ads. So but we definitely do them and we pay for them. So yeah, the answer is yes, we do social media ads.
Christy, hi, good afternoon. To piggyback off of Donna, when you talk about ads and stuff like that, would you recommend other types of paid lead generations? Just say, for instance, if it was Zillow or it was any other things, would you recommend that?
No, I wouldn't. I think the last thing we should be doing is giving Zillow our money. I think you should just call your sphere. And for me, you know, I'm in my early 30s. So for me, when I first started, a lot of my friends weren't buying homes, right? So I had to get creative. What about their parents? What about their aunt and uncles? So if you just focus on your sphere, that way you're getting all of it and you're not paying that referral fee. I would just focus on that before giving your money to someone like Zillow or.
I feel like I'm grilling you, but I have another question.
Yeah.
Christy, how much of your business comes from listings as opposed to buyers? Because I see you all the time with your buyers. How much on Facebook?
I'm very heavy listings. I was our buyer's agent. I have moved to our lead listing role. I honestly have showing agents show my buyers the majority of the time. I don't have many buyers. It's actually hard to let go of, I'll be honest. I try to only work with one buyer a quarter. So most of my closings are listings. What else you guys got for me? I know somebody else has a question.
Would you recommend new agents to join a team if had the chance?
Yes. So my personal experience is yes. I do think that definitely has a lot to do with, you know, you as an individual. And if you work better on a team, right? And having that team atmosphere. I know there's just so many solo agents that kill it, right? And do very, very, very well. For me personally, I enjoy being on a team. The Curtin team has helped me grow more than I ever would on my own. So for me personally, yes, I learned so much. With that being said, of course, the Market Center is like a big team, right? Like you've got all the support you could get. You've got PC coaching with Bill. You have so many resources at the Market Center that are kind of like a team that can help you. But from my individual experience, yes, I just belong in a team atmosphere.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've been feeling and thinking. You know, I'm prior military, and I think that's might be where I'm going to lead to.
Great.
But I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Christy, do you know any agents who allow others to come on listing appointments with them just to shadow and see it live with live objections and everything?
Absolutely. I would be more than happy to help with that. And really, any member of the ALC, we just had a meeting yesterday, would be more than happy with that. So if you are wanting to shadow someone on a listing appointment, reach out to me, reach out to Melody even, and Aubrey, Robin, Bill, any of them could get in touch with one of us to have you shadow a listing appointment. And I know Cynthia is really good about putting on the Facebook page if she's going on appointments to see if anybody wants to shadow her too. So absolutely, there's many of us that would that would be more than happy to do that.
That would be awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, that is true. Like what Christy's saying, if you guys need help, just put it out there and we'll be glad. Sometimes it's like, there's not a whole lot of notice when you get one and they're like, yeah, I can meet today, but I mean, just put it out there. We can always reach out to you guys. So. Christy, the other thing I wanted to ask you when it comes to listing presentations, do you take any additional documents, let's say the purchase and sell agreement, or let's say the seller's property disclosure ahead, like all those things that you're gonna need?
I used to. The only time I will is if it's over the weekend, and I do have personal goals of appointments and signed. And I don't like to ask the admin over the weekend to, stop hanging out with their families and write a listing agreement. So on the weekends, I'll bring a paper copy just to have them sign it there. But most of the time, no, I just have Leah send that paperwork right away, right? Not the next day, not that evening, but right away. As soon as I'm done with that listing, we have a jot form, a Google Jot form, and I just go in there and put exactly, the details they need to fill out a listing agreement, and they send that over right away. So yes, but pretty rarely do I bring it with me. I just ask them to fill it out online.
Okay. That's good to have somebody that's Leah, like in your case with that.
Yeah. So if I didn't have Leah, I probably would. But honestly, and once again, it's just my personality, I would probably have a contract to close. I'm just very high DI when it comes to the details and the paperwork. I probably would pay someone whatever it costs. I don't know, $200-300 a transaction to have them do that for me.
How long? Go ahead.
I was just going to ask, how long is your typical listing appointment? I tend to be a little long-winded, and I just want to see what it takes you, Christy.
I am not. I'm kind of straight to the point. I was actually reading my disc profile the other day, and it said people that just ramble on. I've stopped listening and moved on to my next thought. So for me, I would say an hour is my tops. An hour tops. I would say probably 45 minutes. But an hour is I would say an hour.
How long ahead do you arrive to the actual presentation?
So I am one of those, like, if you're on time, you're late people. Time management is a huge thing to me, and it's a pet peeve when someone's late. Like, I had an actual seller that was 25 minutes late. I was sitting in my car for 25 minutes, and I was like, no, like, I had to all right, Christy, it's fine. Like, you just had to wait 25 minutes. So I'm probably 10 minutes early. Now, with those 10 minutes, I don't go sit in their driveway, right? Like, I might drive by the house, scope out the neighborhood. Oh, I just, that way. Now, if I've never been to the neighborhood, you should do that anyway, right? You should know where the pool is. So I might come a little early, drive through the neighborhood. I'll probably pull in their driveway 5 minutes early.
Okay.
Don't be late. That's what I can say, because people like me just don't be late.
Oh yeah, no, they check out. Like once you're like late, even a minute, they're just done. You're like
Exactly. If you can't,
there's no getting back.
Exactly.
Yeah. Do you usually take the sign or anything with you? Like if you think you're gonna close or anything?
I don't, because most of the time, I mean, with the new rules, right, you can only put a sign in the yard if you're going to list, there's so many different, I just leave that. So we have someone that comes and puts a sign in the yard.
Okay.
And that's based off when they're going to list. I've had a few lately that aren't going to list until May. And so, no, I don't typically bring a sign.
So with that, when you're gonna list in May, you get the agreement signed now, but then you start counting like that time they already have an agreement. It's not like they're gonna change their mind and go like somebody else or start interviewing people.
And if they don't sign right away, I'm calling them every single week until they do. Because I don't want, I mean, anybody can commit to you at a table, right? And then they run into their neighbor 3 doors down that they didn't know was an agent a month later. That's what you don't want to happen. So even if they're listing later, and for me, I can lock them in, kind of dangling Jamie, our stager, as a carrot, right? Like this,
Oh yeah, that is true.
no, Jamie's not coming to look at your house or tell you what paint color to use until you sign. And so I highly recommend having a stager, solo or on a team, and including that. I think it's a great value right now.
Well, actually, you guys pay her on the side. Like that's a different thing. That is the added value with the curtain team, right? The
Yes,
stager that you have.
but it's not, I mean, it's like $250. I mean, $250 to use that as a value and have them sign right away so that they can get Jamie, is worth every dollar.
Okay.
How long are your listing agreements usually? For what time frame?
I used to do 6 months. I think 6 months is still a good time frame, but really 3 months, 4 months. I mean, even ugly houses are selling faster than that.
So besides your laptop and your presentation, your comps, what else do you bring on the listing appointment?
I am bringing a notepad to write notes. So typically what it looks like for me is I'm walking in, I've got my bag here, I've got my computer in it, and I have the tax records. I like to bring the tax records. It shows estimated lot lines. It shows, you can really kind of figure out what they owe off of that, if they've refinanced earlier, those types of things. A lot of the time too, that estimated tax or that estimated value can be in line, maybe not, but it's just always good to have that. And then it's right there in front of me if I need it. Here's my square footage, here's all of that. But I'm really bad with names. So typically I'm walking in, where are we gonna be sitting? You know, where would you like to sit? Well, dining table is preferred. Great, can I set my bag down? I'm just gonna grab my notepad and take some notes. We'll walk around the house. And on my notepad, I already have their name and address at the top so that I know their name the entire time because I'm terrible with names. So that's the first thing I do. They can give me a tour or I can walk through by myself through the eyes of a buyer. And then I just make notes really with whatever they say. Most of the time, they're going to want to take you on a tour. And then you're going to write down, oh, well, they just replaced the HVAC, this, that, you know, whatever the notes might be. So notepad, my computer, tax records, everything else I need is on my computer. The MMO, the presentation, the comps, those are all, I already have them pulled up and ready to go.
And by pulled up, do you have a separate PDF or do you have it on the FMLS kind of thing?
I have, let's see, let me share my screen. I'll show you what So this presentation here, I've got it stored down here under listing presentation. So this might be where I put my MMO. So I'm ready for it. I've got my listing presentation here. This is the brochure that we send out prior. So preparing for a home sale. It's basically tells us about the team and everything I'm about to go over anyway. All of that is right there. And then as far as my comps go, I always have it down here minimized. So I have my FMLS comps ready and it's down here. So when I'm ready, I'm just clicking it and we're ready to go.
Okay.
Your desktop is really that clean.
What was that?
Your desktop is really that clear.
Are you talking about the minimized things?
No, you have like nothing. My desktop is riddled with folders.
Oh yeah, I try to clean out. I mean, the only things I have on here that are important for the presentation is really all I want to be seen. Now, as far as tabs go, I have a million tabs, but it kind of drives me nuts. But no, I try and clean out. Sometimes I'll just take a screenshot of the MMO and have that on my desktop so I can quickly hit on it. The main thing is you know where your stuff is.
Any tips for the walkthrough?
What for the walkthrough?
Any helpful tips, things we should be looking for or asking
Yeah.
questions, anything like that?
So honestly, you rarely have to ask a lot of questions because people want to tell you all about their homes or what they've done to it. Well, this is the new floor we put in and we've updated this bathroom. And as you can tell, I'm looking for problems, right? They're going to tell you everything that's great about the home. I'm looking for water stains. I'm looking for things that are going to hinder the sale. I recently went to one and she had an animal room and the room was covered in urine and feces and like 3 cats in there. And she's like, this is my animal room, as if this is fine, right? This is totally fine. I'm like, okay, I need Jamie to come tell her that she needs to put laminate flooring or whatever that might be. So I'm looking for the problems. They're telling me everything that's great.
So you pretty much rely on Jamie to give them any kind of feedback on stuff that needs to be.
If it's negative, yes, because I want to have this be a positive listing appointment, right? You're not going to want to come in and go, well, this sucks and you should do this. And oh my gosh, what is this? That's not that you want to build a good rapport with them. And so that's why I highly recommend having somebody. Okay, well, great. Let me have Jamie come in and give you some pointers on how to maximize your money. So no, I typically do refer to Jamie for bad news. Now, if it's pretty obvious, right? A lot of the time they're going to know if the carpet is covered in stains, they know that. They know that. And a lot of the time they'll be like, I know the carpet's pretty bad. It needs to be replaced. Great. Yeah, I completely agree, right? I'm agreeing with them but I'm typically not pointing out every negative. I'm pointing out, oh my gosh, I love this bathroom, or I love that painting on the wall, whatever I can positively point out. And remember too, how important it is to make a connection, right? It's all about connecting with people. That's how people choose who they want to hire, is who they like. And so I'm constantly trying to make that connection. So you have a dog, me too. You have a daughter, so do I. She's 4, she's gonna be in kindergarten. Whatever that is, right? You're trying to make that connection and build that rapport. Remember, it's not all about business. For me, it's also personal, right? It doesn't end at the closing table for me. I'm going to constantly check on them and stay in contact with them and build a relationship. Did I answer all of the questions?
For me, yes.
Yes, for me, yes. Thank you so much, Christy. It was awesome. And I'm glad that it was simplified. I know every time I hear like listing presentation, I'm more buyers focused, that like I want to hear something that's simple, because that's what freaks me out basically. So I'm glad.
I love to hear that. It's simple is what I love the most. I'm always trying to simplify everything. So good. I'm glad to hear that.
It was very helpful. Thank you, Christy.
Yes. Thanks, Donna. Awesome. Well, if you guys do need anything, my email is csmith@curtainteam.com. So if you need anything we talked about today or just have any questions, I'm here to help.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Yeah.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chrissy.
You're so welcome. Thank you.
Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.